Good day, students. I welcome you to Building Maintenance Management class. So in this, I'll be taking the first two topics. So for the purpose of today, we are going to be looking at building maintenance management and basic building services. Basic building services, where it is expected of us to look critically into the building maintenance holistically and putting into consideration the vertical transportation, the acoustic, the electrical, and some building codes requirements. We'll be considering that also in this class. In this class. So, so by way of introduction, as we all know, estate management, all we've been talking about and all we've been relating with is basically properties, um, land and building, as the case may be. So we can say our specimen or our elements are what are buildings are buildings, and the buildings are, are, are complex system. They are complex system that consist of some structural elements, mechanical and electrical services, interior finishes, and some supporting infrastructure. Supporting infrastructure. As we all know that maintenance is a key factor when talking about building, because over the lifespan of a building, um, it is expected that a property that is not well maintained is is exposed to wear and tears due to environmental exposure, due to human usage, due to natural deterioration, and so on. So building maintenance management is therefore what a critical discipline that ensures that all these building elements functions well, and also comply with the safety regulations. Comply with the safety regulation. And then why are we doing this? We are doing this to ensure the comfortability of the occupants and also the productivity of the environment. Productivity of the environment. We must ensure that the place is safe for the person. Whatever we are putting in must be what more must conform with what the person needs, considering the safety, the functionality, the comfort, the efficiency, which must comply with regulatory compliance. And in terms of maintenance management, when we talk about management, it has to do with what? It has to do with our planning, organizing, directing, and controlling activities in order to ensure that what our building was performs well our building performs well, and also to enhance the value. As we know that why do we maintain? In order to prolong the lifespan of such property, and also to enhance the value, So basically, you can say this is a little bit of this is related to our property management and also facility management. But because we are bringing in an aspect of safety here, an aspect of functionality, then we can now say, okay, we are looking more into facility management as the case may be. So as we go on in the course of this lecture, you will see how this gives more information of how it is what is expected in facility management. Facility management. So let's look into the maintenance aspect of a building. The first thing is for us to understand the building maintenance as it is. the building maintenance that it is. So building maintenance is more than, is more than just, fixing things when it breaks down. It's more than, oh, you are attending to repairs. There is more to it. It is basically, it is a strategic process. It is a strategic process. And in order to ensure that what the building remain functional, safe throughout its lifespan, safe throughout the lifespan. So with this, we can now be talking about, our normal routine inspection as related to property management, our predictive monitoring, when we are talking about our sensors, our incorporation of automated system. Then we can say, okay, we are being predictive. That is, if anything happens, you should be able to predict that, okay, this is the likelihood of the occurrence. So without proper maintenance, building degrade was faster. It degrades faster, and energy consumption increases. Your safety is compromised, and the operational cost rises. The operational cost rises. So with this, we need effective maintenance. We need effective maintenance. So this leads us to type of maintenance. What are the type of maintenance that we have? So in relation to building maintenance, we have just two categories of maintenance. So the first one, we have the planned maintenance. We have the planned maintenance, and then we have the unplanned maintenance. We have the unplanned maintenance. So under the planned maintenance, then it is also further subdivided into two. We have the preventive and we have the predictive. We have the preventive and we have the predictive. Then under the unplanned, we have the corrective, and we have the emergency. We have the corrective and we have the emergency. So when looking at a planned maintenance, well, as the name implies, it refers to maintenance activity schedules ahead of time. Some breakdown protocols that needed to be followed. Like, okay, your maintenance are well planned. Example is our routine inspection under property management. You know that, okay, you have a schedule of visits. You know, oh, this also period and to visit this property. The same thing with maintenance also. This also period. Even aside the fact that, okay, probably there's a breakdown or anything, just know that, okay, probably every 2 years or every 3 years, the external painting should be done. The external painting should be done. Probably, every 5 years, there are some appliances that needed to be changed in the properties. So this shows that the maintenance that is being carried out are laid down. They are planned. And it can be, I said earlier that it can be predictive maintenance. And then when we talk about predictive maintenance, then we cannot be talking about our cleaning, for example, any replacements, our cleaning, our lubrication, our fumigation, all this comes under was preventive maintenance. The maintenance you put in place in order to ensure that our fumigating also, in order to ensure that there is safety. There is safety in such a property. When we know that a building is needed to be cleaned every week, when we know that a building is expected to be clean every week, then there should be a schedule to be like, okay, probably the cleaner will be coming every Saturday. Why are we cleaning it? We are cleaning it to ensure that the environment is clean. The environment is not prone to probably harmful substances, such as maybe rodents to start disturbing or cockroach, as the case may. So you are trying to prevent occurrences. You are putting some measures in place to prevent some occurrences. When doing this, then it shows that you are carrying what? You are carrying a preventive maintenance. Then the second one under the plan is the predictive maintenance. The predictive maintenance. So under this, we can now we can be talking about the condition monitoring technologies, condition monitoring technologies, such as our vibration analysis, such as our temperature monitoring, or our performance data. With this, the predictive maintenance helps to what? Identify early wear and tears, which helps you to what? Prepare a schedule in order for what? In order to prevent what? Failure occurrence. In order to prevent failure occurrence. Then for the unplanned, I said that unplanned maintenance happens when you respond to some unexpected breakdown. You were not expecting it, but there's a need for it, which you need to attend to it. Fine, it is not part of what you planned, but we can't shy away from the fact that there are some maintenance that needed to be attended to, and they are not planned for. That needed to be attended to and not planned for. Example is our corrective maintenance, which has to do with repairs, which has to do with maintenance, which has to do with well, as the case may be, or as the needs arise also, we carry out some corrective maintenance, then another one is emergency. Another one is emergency. For example, if we have a burst pipe now, it's not it is not expected that a pipe should burst. It could be as a result of probably something punch it, and before you know it, the water starts gushing out. In such a case, you can't tell the tenant that, it is not in our plan to attend to this. No. That needs an urgent attention. That needs an urgent attention, which needs to be fixed. In a situation whereby you have high-rise building, and then probably the elevator is faulty and all that, it's a kind of maintenance that needed to be attended to urgently. So a urgent, or probably you have an electrical fallout, this is an indication of fine. It is not planned, but it needed to be attended to urgently. It needed to be attended to urgently. So we have some maintenance management system. We have some key concepts that needed to be that needed to be known. Because for an effective maintenance management, it involves several interconnected components. Several interconnected components. Then we can now be talking about our planning and schedule, our work order, resources and budget management, our inventory, and also our reporting. So the first one we'll be looking at this morning is today is planning and scheduling. Planning and scheduling. So we can't also shy away from the fact that our maintenance system needs to be properly planned. You have to identify some tasks that are required to be planned ahead, even despite the fact that we have one that are that requires a corrective measure, or that requires an emergency attention. But we need to plan for every maintenance in our buildings. We need to plan for it, which should be frequent. We should not fail in one aspect. If an aspect is failed, then there can be loophole, which is going to show. And at the end of it, this occur as a result of improper maintenance. And it should also be scheduled. It should also be scheduled. You should have a time fixed for every maintenance plan. should have a time fixed in order for you to prepare the mind of the tenant ahead, even before carrying out such maintenance. Then the second key note to note is the work order. The work order. This well, if when we talk about planning, it shows that it must be sequential. So your work order must follow protocol. It mustn't be what is expected to do at the last is what you are doing at the first. No, no. Work order entails that there should be a workflow. Oh, we are starting with this, and it is expected that we end with this. So a facility manager that knows what he or she is doing should know that this is very good for proper what accountability and what and documentation. Then under maintenance also, we can't shy away from the fact that it is needed that we should get equipped with our resources and what budget management. We need resources to carry out maintenance. We also need what finance to carry out maintenance. So our resources can be in terms of our labor, in terms of labor, I think I mentioned this during the property management last section, that as a property manager, to you should have artisans to yourself. For example, you should have a personal plumber. You should have a personal electrician. You should have a personal bricklayer. So it is not when things fall out, you now start looking for, who to address this. No, your labor should be what? Your manpower should be at your fingertips. It should be at your fingertips. And also your tools that will be needed should be what? Should be with you. Your spare parts, every material that are needed to carry out what? Effective maintenance should be what? Should be at your disposal. Should be at your disposal. Then when talking about the budget management, it has to do with budgeting. And under budgeting, we have the short term and we have the long term. The long term, as you are making plans for whatever you need, you should be able to what? Attribute your cost implication to every of your work orders. You should be able to attribute your work. So it is not that you are just looking at the work to be done and you are not considering the finance aspect. And also, when considering the finance aspect, you must be able to manage your client's resources very well, so that you won't use the money you collect for rent, for repairs, or for maintenance. No, a property manager will not what? Will not do that. Will not do that. Then the second to the last is the inventory. So basically, inventory has to do with what we have, the tools we have, the resources we have, and the one that are out of stock. You must be able to have an inventory of what, as a property manager, the tools you have, the manpower you have, the one you don't have, the ones that are needed, so that when you have a shortage of resources, you will know. Just check your schedule, check your inventory. Oh, we have five mopping stick before. We've been able to use two, and is one, and we have three left. So your record should be what? Your record should be updated. Your record should be updated. Then also the last one we'll be looking at is the reporting and compliance. Every of your maintenance management system should have a well-defined and good reporting system. I must comply with the building codes. To probably the state, the federal government, they have their own building codes, as the case may be, which we also need to what? Which we also need to know. So this leads us to the vertical transportation system. This is one of the key aspects of maintenance system. So when we are talking about the vertical transportation basically has to do with movement of people or goods between different level of buildings. And nowadays, in modern high-rise structures, we have what we call the elevators, the escalators, the moving walkways, in order to ensure, basically, in order to ensure the accessibility, and efficient circulation, so that, wherever you find yourself managing an high-rise building, there shouldn't be congestion. And this makes movement more easier. For example, Cocoa House now, you can't be saying, okay, the people on the 25th floor should be making use of staircase. No. So when talking about the functionality, you know that there must be provision for what? And elevator. And this elevator, the escalator should be what? Should be well maintained also. Should be well maintained as a good facility manager, And why do we even think of the escalator, the elevator, and all that? Thinking about this because we know that, okay, in such a building, in a building where we have in a multi-tenanted property, where we have crowd coming in, coming out, especially our mall, our shopping mall, uh, basically offices that require a large crowd. It is expected that this is incorporated. It is expected that this is incorporated. And basically, why are we doing this? We are doing this in order to ensure that what there is free flow of traffic, in order to ensure safety, comfort, and accessibility, as the case may be. Then the next one we'll be considering is the acoustical control in building. So this is an aspect of management also we look into, and this has to do with sounds. Because when you are trying to protect it is expected that the interest of each tenant, they are well protected. So in a situation whereby we have multi-tenanted properties, it is expected that what there shouldn't be one apartment disturbing the other as a result of noise. So we put this acoustical control in place in order to ensure what noise and what are well managed, or let's say sound. Don't let me say noise, because when the when the sound are unwanted, or when they are getting too much, then we can say this is a noise. So we ensure that the sound what that is generated from each offices, each apartment, as the case may be, they are well managed. And how do we manage this? How do then example where we can see this? We can see it in our classrooms, we can see it in the hospitals, offices, and then some multi-tenanted residential spaces also. And then why are we doing this? We are doing this in order to ensure that there is no disturbance, in order to ensure safety, in order to ensure sanity, So what are the key concepts under this acoustical control? The first one, we have a sound insulation. So we can make provision for sound insulation. For example, there can be a solid wall. There can be a double glazed, just to ensure that, okay, you don't hear what is happening at the other side. All these insulation materials also can be used. And also, I know some buildings that use sound absorption, especially in our churches. You will notice that two churches will be standing side by side and without any disturbance. The only time you can hear a voice is when a door is open or a window is open. So most churches now are now soundproof. In fact, most cinemas also in the mall, they are also was soundproof. Have you ever wondered how we have about 6 rooms with air with loud voices, and then one hardly disturb the other? This is because we have some sound absorption appliances. in order to control what? In order to control noise. In order to control noise. So this is, as I said earlier, this is applicable where? In our hospitals, in our classrooms, in some hotels also, some conference rooms, some auditoriums, as the case may be, as the case may be. Then another one we should look into is the controls and system, electrical control and system. This is very, very important. This is very, very important, as we know that electrical systems are fundamental to building operation, and we can't just afford to let it break down, because it will affect the operation of the building, because most appliances rely on what? Rely on electricity, rely solely on electricity, which could be public main, which could be probably the solar panel, which could be generator, as the case may be. As the case may be. Yeah. So I said earlier that when talking about electrical controls and system, then we can be talking about power in general. We can be talking about power distribution, the lighting, the communication, the control, and the safety of all devices. They must be what? They must be well managed. Our power distribution, you must be able to supply what? Utility grid to transformer, in order to what? In order to distribute through the switchgear, the distribution board, and the wiring system. This must be what? Well managed. This must be what? Well managed. That is why you need to get a sound electrician that knows what he or she is doing very well, in order to attend to you when there is any breakdown. And it is expected that if there's any breakdown, that doesn't mean the building should shut down. There should be a backup system, which could be probably the electricity is gotten from the public main, which is the normal PHCN. So if there's a shutdown in the PHCN, that doesn't mean the whole building should be shut down. There should be provision of generator, or there should be provision for UPS, solar system, as the case may be. As the case may be, the electrical control should be what? Should be well managed. Should be well managed and what? Should be well managed and well controlled. Should be well managed and well controlled. This is what? Very, very important. So there are some building codes requirements that is expected that a building should conform with. So building codes, in a way, they provide a minimum standard for what? For safety, for health, for accessibility, for energy efficiency. So these codes help us to guide our words when designing. It gives us the information of what to do, what to install, and how to manage those services. Manage those services. Manage these services. And for the building codes, I would like to share that. Let me mention, we treated 3 now, and those 3 also have what? Building codes. They have. For example, our vertical transportation codes. They are used for what? Our vertical transportation, in order to ensure that you are creating room for every flow of traffic. Aside the fact that you have a staircase, for you to have smooth transportation, you should incorporate what? An elevator, an escalator, as the case may be. There should be room for that, in order to convey what? In order to convey more than one people without you eating one another. There should be free flow of traffic. There should be free flow of traffic. And then when there is a shutdown of probably the escalator or the elevator, then that is when you can now resort to, okay, let me use my what? Let me use my my staircase, which can be used just temporarily. And also the staircase can also be a means of safety in terms of any fire occurrence. So because you can't be queuing for people to go up, go down. So before you can be doing that, the best thing is to what make use of the staircase, just to what just to run down for what for safety.